Okay, hopefully you can see with the sun, but right here, it is very tight. This is supposed to pretty much freewheel, but when their bearings are new, they're tight, but not even this tight. But this is the right side. This is the side that you initially had the brake problem on. And, you know, this is like, I probably should have changed it, you know. It's just that it didn't sound that bad. Like I said, the noise can be like that for a while, but you didn't really notice, so you couldn't give me feedback. But I had to take out the whole thing, you know. On this side, you can hear the bearing is loose and actually makes this noise. And the unfortunate thing is, when I pulled it out, it yanked the axle out and a lot of tranny fluid came out, so I got to replenish about a quart or two of transmission fluid. Oh well. So listen, this has turned out to be a disaster. I can't even get to the press. This thing is so heavy that and this is such an uneven thing. Like, in order to press it out, I have to push down on this. I just put this other tool inside here and I'm starting to hit it with a hammer. I might be able to press out this piece when I get, you know, the bearing, when I get the hub out. But I have to support it on either side. It's impossible. This thing is like, you know, 40 pounds. And I'm trying to hold it from over here while setting it up in the press, and it was horrible. So I came back outside and I started messing with it. And I have these other tools that, you know, go on the outside here, and I'm trying to rig it. And you're supposed to use the lug nuts, and I'm fucking up the lug nuts now because I've done it 12 times. So I may have to just take this off, and I'm going to paint it so it doesn't, you know, so I can know where to put it back so I don't mess up the wheel. I mean, that's really the best I can do at this point. Been at this for about an hour. So what I forgot to mention in the other video, because I had to keep it under a minute, is now I put this other thing in there which just tightens it up and it gives me a place to hit it. So I've been hitting this with a hammer, but it's kind of fucking up my tool too, but I barely got it to move. So I'm going to try to buy another tool first before I mess with the wheel alignment. Like, again, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get this out of here, but I'm going to go to Harbor Freight Tools. So I'm going to be back in the area if you want to come back. If you want to hang out in the mall, that's fine also. So just to give you an idea what's going on, I got it out. I basically had to hit it out like that. But here's the problem. I was trying to get this out first, because that's how the way you do it normally. You take the center out and then you get this side out. What I did is I unbolted these 3 bolts. Okay, and usually when you buy the new one, it comes as a kit, but yours did not. It only came with a separate bearing and a separate hub. So I got to reuse this steel part. I still can't get it out because I got to get this part out. And it's just so fucking tight. I'm hoping the other side is not nearly as bad. But once I get this centerpiece out, which I might be able to do on the press, it may get bent up and then I have to flatten it, you know, straighten it out just by hammering it flat. You know, and then I'll do the other side. But yeah, definitely more of a headache than I expected, for sure. Look at this. So I go through all the trouble of taking off this this plate. I unscrewed it because I was going to do the same thing. I tapped it twice. This thing here just fell right out. No issues at all. So this side was loose. That side was like seized. And now it'll be a little hard to get the bearing out, but it's 10 times, 1,000 times easier on this side. If I had started with this side, everything would have went together pretty easy, and I would have been like flabbergasted by the other side. But I wasn't expecting much from this side. But now it's like super awesome that this side came out so easy. Now I just got to whack out the bearing and start putting both of them together. But I do have to put the other one in the press to get the piece out still from the other one. You know, crazy. Okay, bearing is out, just like the other side. I basically use this, and you see how this is all mushroomed, this piece? That's from me hitting the other side so hard with this. It got all fucked up, my tool. It's crazy. And I bought this other kit from Harbor Freight. It was like $108 with tax. I'm going to return it because it has all these things, and it says, you see, removing the wheel bearing without having to remove and replace front wheel bearing without the steering knuckle assembly and strut assembly. No need for alignment, you know, basically. And that was my idea. But the thing is, it still doesn't take out the hub. It only takes out the bearing. So I'm like, wait a minute, this is a moot point. I have enough of those adapters that I could do whatever I got to do. But the thing is, it's still getting out this fucker. And without somebody holding that up or having this loose, it's very hard, you know. So, but still, this side, if both sides went like this, it would be a breeze in comparison. Okay, so we put this side in the center. All right, and it's connected to all this, and this is the press. As you can see right now, I have about a little over 2,000 pounds of pressure on it, and it's rigged up in this thing, and hopefully this works. Like 3,035, and this don't want to go. Oh my God! Holy shit! 5,000 pounds of pressure. Holy fucking cow. I lost a little leverage because the other piece fell out. I gotta grab it. But ultimately I gotta use 2 hands for this, but this is gonna be crazy. So I just scared myself to death. I had it up to 6,000 pounds, which is a rarity. In fact, I couldn't find a thing that normally holds this, but I usually just hold it by hand. But it was only holding 5,000 pounds, and then it was bleeding off, so that I had to take this and really tighten it. I put something longer in here to press. And once I got up to 6,000 pounds, it went boom, and everything that was loose fell on the floor here. And now, when I start pumping it, now I'm gonna light. You can see now. Wow. What happened? Oh shit. Did I blow the seal in this? It went down. Maybe it's just going down every time. Oh yeah, it's moving. That's how fucking tight. Every single thing is tight, and it's taking 3,500, almost 3,500 pounds of constant pressure. Yeah. Okay, so now I have to put a different piece in there because, okay, so I put a little thing up there. You can see it, it'll hit the floor. Usually if I had 2 hands free, I'd catch it. I gotta have another piece under there. Oh well. Alrighty, this ought to do it. I got a socket in there instead now. You'll see everything's gonna hit the floor. It's gonna make a mess. It's gonna shoot everywhere. Ugh. I still gotta go. Wait, I can't believe how it's almost out. There we go. Just moved. All right. Now it's gonna hit the ground, and all this is gonna fall. Now it's maintaining just under 2,500 or so. So that's it. And this is the piece. Incredible. Unreal. So this is the driver's side. The bearing popped in by hand. The plate went on. I started whacking this thing in. I didn't go all the way because what happens when you go all the way, the new bearing has like 2 halves on the inside. So this has got to be supported in order for me to hit it. So I can do that. Not a big deal. But basically when you put it onto the threads there and use the big nut, and you can just pull it right in with the big nut the rest of the way. But you know, this is by no means is it supposed to be any tighter than what I just did. It went in so nice, it's not even funny. That's why I wasn't expecting all this. So the other side, hopefully, I'm going to make a video of me actually putting it together and to show you how easy it's supposed to go together. So hopefully it will continue to be easy, but we'll see when I make the next video. So I'm going to try to do this best I can. I actually have the phone in my upper pocket. Yeah, okay. So this is the bearing. Okay, so I basically had to reset the bearing. It seems to want to go in a little bit crooked on this side. It's not uncommon. Oh shit, that's not good. Okay, I just had to be a little more conscious about how hard I hit it. Basically, I got it halfway through, and it was going just about, you know, I knew it was going to go in at that point, but the other half of the bearing can just kind of fall out. So a couple of little crusties got on it. I cleaned them off. I looked at them carefully, and I'm going to put it back together. And I'm just going to tap it with the hammer. It should be all I need, but I'm going to put my hand underneath. And you see how easy. See? There it goes. You hear the hard hit is basically it's on the edge, And now I just put this guy in. I got a couple of new bolts I got to put on. Each bolt had a fucked up head. Each side had a fucked up head. So basically that, the 3 bolts, and then I whacked this guy in, you know, and it's going to go together quite well. Okay, back in my upper pocket. As you can see, I put the 3 new bolts, the gold bolts. This is the new hub. Never reuse an old hub. It's a bad idea. I put the jack stand kind of in between, so that thing, if it falls, it only falls like 1/4 of an inch or 1/2 inch or something like that. So same thing as I did on the other side. I basically just whacked it until it kind of, it's moving in so easy. This is the way it's supposed to be. You should be able to knock it out with a hammer as well when all is said and done. So ultimately, just like I was saying on the other side, I'm gonna not put it in all the way. I'm gonna use the pull from the threads from the axle to pull it in, and it'll be fine. This is gonna go together, no problem. I'll check it out in a little while. I'm putting together a catastrophe.